small-town business owners Wyatt and Lance Bush teamed together to form Craven Customs, a father and son duo scavenging the web along with the Northeast Texas woods in search of rusty relics. While buying and building on a budget, they recreate and preserve hidden patina, giving each one a story of its own. Chasing their passion, they're giving the past a future, saving lost dreams one vehicle at a time. With help from God, these guys are Turnin Rust, brought to you in part by Maxed Trailers.
Yesterday while we were working at the shop, I had a gentleman stop by that told me he had a Volkswagen bus he might be interested in selling. Wesley's been after me for a while now to try to buy one of these old hippie buses and do something with. So we're gonna run out there. I'm not sure what year it is or what he's actually got. We're gonna run out there, check it out. Maybe we can bring this thing home with us.
When the sun goes down on the river, it's time to chase the moonlight. I work hard every day for a working man's pay, but I'm letting loose tonight. I think I'm gonna rise up, riding high, ain't nothing gonna hold me back. Now I'm on the move, got nothing to lose, like a freight train off the tracks. Come on up the mountain, set yourself free. Come on up the mountain, boy, listen to me.
Howdy.
Good.
Sorry it took us so long getting out of here.
Yeah, it's all right.
How are you? I'm Lance.
Jeff Curley.
Nice to meet you. Is this a little Volkswagen?
It's it.
Never quite seen one with a top on it that big. I've had some of the little Westphalia pop-up ones, but never seen one that tall. Looks like someone was using it for storage at one point in time, huh?
There's a bunch of cushions and stuff in it. I don't know what all. That other one over there, I know he drove it in here. That's been several years ago, but
yeah, I'm not real familiar with these Volkswagens. I've always liked them. I've had some of the earlier ones with the split windshields, but I don't know. This one's probably what, late 60s, early 70s maybe.
I truthfully don't know.
Yeah, looks like it's been sitting here for a little while. It started to dig into the ground pretty good, ain't it?
It was 2003 or something, I imagine, whenever he moved over here, and he brought all this, and well, he had several Volkswagens and kit cars and stuff, and a lot of it went to Florida.
Yeah, it seems like I've noticed that with a lot of the Volkswagen fans. They normally have a lot more than one sitting around the lot. So, you know if the motor's still in it, or?
I truthfully don't know.
Not sure.
No, a guy from Florida come up here, they was gonna haul it back.
Yeah, it looks like it's all still there. I guess all this stuff comes with it if we was to pay. Would you, I mean, really I'd like to be, with the rust it does have on it, I mean, obviously in the back quarter panel areas there, it's rusted and this and that. I mean, I'm not telling you anything.
Looks like some Bondo stuff.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd like to be at around $500 on the thing. Is that anything that you think you could
be all right with me.
Work for you? Alrighty, I don't know how hard she's gonna be to want to move, but luckily she's not too heavy and I got a big winch. So if that works for you, I'll go grab some cash and we'll get a game plan on getting this thing loaded up and get her sitting in a different town for a little bit maybe.
All right.
All right, thanks sir.
Thank you.
We're trying to beat some nasty weather out here. This thing's obviously on 4 flats, been sitting here a while. Not really sure what we're gonna get into or what's gonna come out of this thing when we try to move it, but we're just gonna try to back up to it, see if the winch will move it. Hopefully the brakes ain't locked up. Maybe we can get a little air in these tires and get this thing on the road.
I drift on the old Coe, snaking down through Cherokee. Wash my soul in the river, that water's gonna set me free. It's time to rise up, riding high, ain't nothing gonna hold me back. Now I'm on the move, got nothing to lose. Like a freight train off the tracks, come on up the mountain, set yourself free. Come on up the mountain, boy, listen to me. Come on up the mountain, and set yourself free. Come on up the mountain, boy, listen to me. Fire's bright on the hills tonight, you can feel it all around. Let's climb up to the highest point, and we all can scream it out loud. Come on up the mountain, come on up the mountain, set yourself free, set yourself free. Come on up the mountain, boy, listen to me. Come on up the mountain, come on up the mountain.
Well, appreciate all the help on getting her out of there.
But thank y'all.
Didn't think she really wanted to move, so. Well, I guess I need to get you paid up there. There you go, 500 bucks. So maybe that'll do you a little better than an old van sitting out in the field.
Sitting out in the field.
Yeah. We can get it back, see if maybe we can get that motor turning over and see if we can get it running, and I'll let Dad go ahead and clean it out for me. That's never fun when you got a pile that big, but we'll do something with her, so I'm glad y'all contacted
Y'all
us.
can have the coons and whatever you find in.
I appreciate that. Alrighty, well we're gonna head back to Pagoda Way, and it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
All right, thanks, sir. When we finally found this place, it was out in the middle of nowhere. We show up, the guy has a pistol strapped to his side. I mean, we didn't know what we were getting into on this thing. The old Volkswagen was a little rougher than what we normally would like to mess with, but at the price he was asking, we couldn't hardly afford to walk away from it. So we'll get it back to the shop, got a lot of things going on, we'll dig through it eventually, but right now we need to get back to this hearse.
You don't know how much I've already been through. You don't know the place I'm coming from. I've been high, I've been low, fought the demons in my soul. You don't know how much I've already been through.
We've been working really hard on this car, pulling a lot of late nighters on it. Getting really close, butting up a lot of loose ends on this thing. Still have this hole up front. We need something to put on this car to cool it off so we can run it long enough to kind of play around with it. Probably going to turn the pump up on it. We love the black smoke. That's going to make this car super cool. But right now what we're going to do is install this radiator and new intercooler. We've hooked up with a company called IceBox Performance. They really hooked us up on this thing. They built us a custom radiator off of the measurements of a factory Cadillac. So it goes right in the way the factory one would. It's a little thicker, so it's going to handle this diesel motor a lot better. The intercooler will bolt just in place just like the other one did. So now we're just going to start mounting those things up, run some hoses, run some wiring to the fan. This thing will be a lot cooler.
I know I'm coming through fine, through every fire. Put a flame inside of me. Give me power, give me strength, give me hope. Come light the way. Give me passion like a fire. Come move me like a wave. Give me power, give me power.
Working on a time crunch had become quite interesting finding parts in the time frame we were working with. I'd linked up with IceBox Performance, kind of told them what we were doing, how we were shooting a YouTube series, always dealing in patina style builds. Well, this was just right up their alley. So I was able to just send them some dimensions over, tell them what I needed. In 2 days we had a plug and play radiator.
Whatever darkness, you put a light inside of me. Give me power, give me strength, give me hope, come light the way. Give me passion like a fire, come move me like a wave. Give me power, give me power. Give me I'm so alive with you, I'm awake in my soul. I've got this hope, I can't ignore what it means.
We're going to go ahead and call it a night here. We're around about 27 days until the show. We made a lot of headway on this car, and it's really starting to look like something now. We've got the 12-valve Cummins diesel in it. We've got it running. We've got it wired. We've got the radiators installed now. We've knocked out the full air ride. We went with the chopping block control arms up front. Went with a 2-link on the back. Made it really easy to work on this thing. Love the stance of the car. Still got a lot of work ahead of us. Still got to do the roof rack. Plan to do the exhaust next. Really happy with what we've got so far, and really hoping to see this car outside the shop soon.
I'm spending money like I just got paid. $100 bills, tell them keep the change. Come on.
Well, it's been a rough couple days on this build. As you can tell, I'm filthy, we're tired. We've been pulling a lot of late nights on this thing, trying to make this thing happen. We've come a long ways. I think this is going to actually be the first time that she's going to leave the shop under her own power. We got brakes, we've got the drive line hooked up. Fingers crossed, everything should be good. We'll see once we get it out of here. But we got an appointment with the exhaust shop. Going to go ahead and have it run up. Going to get the alignment done on it as well. So right now we're about a month and a half into this thing. We've done pretty good, I think. We've come a long ways. God's definitely blessed us with a lot of favor. But still a ton of work to do. So we're going to get it over there, get one more thing knocked off the list, and be good to go.
I see the world through my thrift store shades. Rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on. I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, 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 I just feel so good. If you feel it, just dance along. Keep the feeling going on and on. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along, dance along. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along. Got to keep the feeling going on and on. Yeah. If you feel it, just dance along, dance along. Oh, I just feel so good. I just feel so good.
So a lot of you might not know, but Kevin, who does our exhaust, is actually my cousin. We've been messing with hot rods ever since we were big enough to turn a wrench. I bring a lot of stuff to him. The shop he works at is set up a lot better than what we are as far as doing exhaust work and stuff. He's really passionate about what he does, and he also puts a lot of pride in it, just as we do as well. So I figure what better shop to bring it to than his. Hey man, sorry I'm late.
Y'all made it.
Just about everything that could go wrong has went wrong on this thing here lately, so. Pretty
That's
happy to get it out of the shop though. I was
Heck
hoping
yeah.
that she could see some sunlight, but at least she'll see some different shop lights.
Yeah, there you go.
We still good? Is it too late to try to do that exhaust?
No,
or?
let's do it. This is the
I kind of have an
time.
idea how I want to do it. I thought it'd be cool just to, we're going to turn that pump up so it'll blow out some black smoke. So I was thinking about just having it come out behind the hood where it just blows it up over the car.
Yeah, that'll work.
So we've got it, like I said, it'll run and steer and pull up in here. Also going to see if you could knock out that alignment on it because it put them control arms up front.
Well, let's take care of it.
So
we ready to unload it?
I guess so.
Let's
What do
do
you
it.
want, right here?
Yeah, right here, please.
Okay. So kind of what I was thinking, I had this old exhaust tip laying around the shop for years. I cut this hole here in the windshield wiper cowl, and I thought it'd be kind of cool if it would just come out right there. It's going to be blowing up over that thing. We were so happy that we didn't have to cut a hole in the hood for this motor, so I didn't really want to have to cut a hole for the exhaust. I can just trim a little bit there and
yeah, that'll be fine.
Make it work. But
that'll look different.
Yeah.
Keep the windshield cleaned off.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be black smoke all over the windshield, but give it a good place for kids to ride on it or something. So
yeah,
passenger don't need to see what you're doing when you're driving anyway.
No, we can handle that.
All right, man. Well, tell me what you need to do and
let's get the hood off.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, we talked about going through here like that. What we're going to do right here is start, take this band clamp loose, and let's start some new pipe at that flange. Turn up a 45 somewhere in here and come right up to it. Shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay. All right, man. I know you'd know how to do it, and that's why you're doing it, not me. So.
Right.
Got to do something though. Them fumes are going straight into that cabin area right now.
It'll make you cry, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, it sounds good. Let's get to cutting, guys.
All right, sounds good. Them fumes were no joke. I mean, it took everything I had to stay in that car to try to pull it on the trailer. I never had really thought about the fumes coming inside it like that, but my eyes were watering. I was starting to get a little dizzy. I mean, I believe sometimes we probably put ourselves in situations that we probably shouldn't have, but I definitely praise God for His protection on me that day.
All right, let's try to pin some pipe.
As we're looking at this exhaust, it's turning out really cool. But we're putting our brains together, and this may not exactly be the route that we want to take on this thing. We're looking for attention, and if we're going to do this thing, we're going to do it right. We're going to do it Turnin Rust style, even if it means extra work and staying up all night. He just about had this exhaust wrapped up, and we're kind of brainstorming, looking at different ways to mount this tip, and we come up with an idea that we just feel like we can't live without. So what we're going to go ahead and go with is we're going to turn the tips off to the side. We're going to put another tip on the other side, kind of the same way. It'll look like a mad bull coming at you. The smoke will go around the car rather than over the car, but we'll have a clean windshield. I think this will look so much cooler, so have at it.
Tongue slapping out your mouth won't save you. The truth comes out, I'll make it. Swallow it down, you can't fake it. It's too late now. I won't run, I won't hide. I'm right here.
So most of the time, cool is not necessarily always the easy route to take. We wanted this thing to really be different. Looking like a bull sounded like a really good idea. But the only way to get that exhaust to the other side of the car was, unfortunately, we had to go through the windshield cowl. And unfortunately, going through the windshield cowl, we lost our windshield wipers. But they do make rain necks, and to me, having a cool set of exhausts on this car is way cooler than being able to see in the rain.
I won't run, I won't hide, I'm right here. You're gonna know my name. Show up, or show out, 'cause sure enough, you're gonna know my name. I won't run, I won't hide, I'm right here. You're gonna know my name. Show up, or show out, 'cause sure enough, you're gonna know my name. I won't run, I won't hide, I'm right here. You're gonna know my name. Show up, or show out, 'cause sure enough, you're gonna know my name. I won't run, I won't hide, I'm right here. You're gonna know my name. Show up, or show out, 'cause sure enough, you're gonna know my name. You're gonna know my name. You're gonna know my name.
We've been up here a few hours now, and we've just been sitting back watching Kevin pound away on this car. I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to sit back and relax and have someone else put their hands on this thing. I'm loving the way it's turning out. Can't wait to hear how it sounds, and I definitely think we made the right decision on this.
With those sweet lips up to my ear. still here. Put your cold hands all over me. Help me wake up from my bad dreams. We're like the trees in the wind, honey with a water bends. We're moving, oh, so free. I've been waiting this whole time to hear you tell me that you are mine. If we don't break this silent stare, well then I can't leave, babe. I can't go anywhere. We're like the trees in the wind, honey, where our water bends. We move easy.
The Lone Star Throwdown is known for their large truck attendance. 1963 Cadillac Hearse, 12-valve Cummins diesel, Bullhorn cowboy Cadillac tips. I mean, it doesn't get no more redneck than that. Let's just hope for a lot of cowboys at this show.
The breeze, baby.
We messed around and pulled another all-nighter on this thing. We changed our mind midway on the exhaust from going with a single exit exhaust to a dual exit exhaust. Super happy we made this decision. I mean, it has a really tough look to it. Just looks like a bull coming at you. Here in Texas, I've seen lots of Cadillacs with horns on them. Well, we did our own style of horns on this thing with the exhaust. It's only going to be cooler when we get that pump turned up and the black smoke just blowing down both sides of it. It's really late tonight. We're going to call it a night. He's going to go ahead and attack the alignment tomorrow. Getting really close on this thing, and hopefully we can drive it home to the shop. Well folks, we did it. We took our first journey in this old car with the 12-valve Cummins diesel in it. When we found this engine in the junkyard, I wasn't for sure what all we were getting into to make this thing work, but I'm really impressed with how it runs, it drives, it sounds great. I love the look of the exhaust. It's just missing a little something that I think we can take care of next.
You don't wanna be around
So I've said it 100 times in this episode, I really don't know anything about diesels. We knew that we wanted this thing to have a lot of black smoke coming out of these stacks here. So I know that you can turn up the pumps on these things, but I brought my buddy Trevor down here. He plays with diesels a lot more than I ever thought about doing. So he's just basically going to show us how to do that right now, and hopefully we'll get some coal rolling out of these things.
Okay, so basically what we're getting into here, we've got 3 simple little steps that you can take to get a little bit more power and a lot more black smoke out of these early 12 valves with this VE pump. Right now I'm about to turn the power screw in just a couple turns, and then we're going to go inside of the pump itself and replace the fuel pin with a pin that's got a little bit less of a vert on it. And then after that we may do a little bit of tinkering with the smoke screw, see if we can get just a little bit more out of it. When you get into putting a little bit more fuel to a diesel, you take the chance of having a runaway. If you get too much fuel and it starts getting power on its own, then there's no way to stop it unless you kill the air to it. So just in case, we've got this board here, just stick it in front, and so we don't lose this engine.
Ready?
Yep.
We turned the power screw in a couple of turns. We also rotated the star gear just a little bit and added the new fuel pin in it. I'm really happy with the smoke output we have right now. A little afraid to go any further on it right now. So we're just gonna leave it right there. Can't wait to get this thing out on the road and just see what it actually looks like going down the highway. Well guys, we're back at it again. We've been working really hard on this old car to try to make it happen to the show. We're less than a week away. We've really been pounding out on this roof rack and roof props to make it happen. As I had stated before, we kind of wanted to go with the Ghostbuster feel on this car, but just for it to have its own Turnin Rust kind of swing on things. We know this car is not a 59 like the original Ghostbuster car. We never really even wanted to go with that kind of style on it. So what we did is we come up with this cool roof rack, kind of put some fins on it to match the car, fabbed it out of just some square tubing. We made some templates on the side that turned out really cool. Bodyguard did a great job on getting those cut out for us. So now basically it's just designed to where we'll start bolting on our props on this thing. We've kind of scavenged around the shop and tried to be just as creative as possible to try to just grab people's attention on this thing. We figured that if we were going to do it, we needed to go all out. The props would really make or break the vehicle. So right now we're going to start bolting them on and see what we got.
I can feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. I can feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. Yeah. Give me that fire. Give me that fire. I'm in the shadow of the valley of the gods in the grave. I'll keep on going, running, running. I'll go till my body breaks. There's fire deep in my soul. I'ma rise up like the legends of old. Bright brighter than gold, brighter than gold. I can feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. I can feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. Yeah. Give me that
As we're rummaging through stuff, I mean, I'm finding stuff I didn't even know we had anymore. So we're looking through it, we're trying to keep this thing looking nice. We don't want it to look too junky, we don't want it to look too busy, and we also don't want to replicate the Ecto 1. I mean, after all, this is our version, the Ecto Boost.
Burn on, I'm shining so bright, lit up like a diamond in the dead of night. There's fire deep in my soul, I'ma rise up like the legends of old. Brighter than gold, brighter than gold. Brighter than gold, brighter than gold. Feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. Give me that fire. I can feel that fire in me, fire in me, fire. Give me that fire. Brighter than gold, brighter than gold. Brighter than gold, brighter than gold. Brighter than gold.
As you guys can tell, this thing's already starting to take a little shape with a few lights we've added on it already. And what this thing is, if you guys have followed us very long, you know that we like to play with fire. So we decided if we were going to do this, we needed a flamethrower that we could shoot down the enemy with. So we've come up with this idea. I found this old thing on Marketplace. It was an old photo enlarger, supposedly from the 40s. I was able to pick it up dirt cheap. It just looked cool to me, just looked like a gun anyways. So we gutted the inside of it out. We just got a little small propane bottle that shoots some fuel through it, sparks it at the end, gives us a good little flame to scare people with.
Inside, like leeches leaving me dry. Though they're gonna feel my pain and fall to dust when they feel my flame. I see no warning signs, I gotta fight that beast inside. Oh, gonna take him right down till I'm dying out loud. I'm dying out loud.
So on the inside of this flamethrower, it's fairly simple. It's just a small propane tank. It feeds the fuel through an electric valve. Then at the end of the barrel, we have a spark plug that ignites it. On this system, we hooked up with hot licks again. You guys might remember on the Fireball Floyd episode, we used the same system on that truck where we shoot the fire out the bedsides. This is the same thing, except we're igniting the propane rather than the gas out of the truck.
We decided to make these slime tubes. We took a piece of clear tube that we had laying around here and that, put some ends on it, put some slime inside. What's a Ghostbuster car without some slime?
I won't turn my back again. Wanna stand and face the rain in this valley of wolves. They say the end may come, but if I'm the only one, well, I won't ever run in this valley of wolves. The alpha blood in this body of wolves. And the alpha blood in this body of wolves. The alpha blood.
When we designed this roof rack, we thought it'd be a kind of cool idea to have fog incorporated in it. So we put the big holes in the side, the exhaust tips to let the fog flow out. We needed something to kind of keep our fog machine out of the weather, so we built this box. It's going to work well to take up a lot of space up there too. It's going to keep all the stuff we need inside here out of the weather. We can just run our tubing to our exhaust ports right there. We'll also keep our power inverter here that'll control all the stuff that runs on AC current.
I won't turn my back again. Gonna stand and face the rain in this valley of wolves. They say the end may come if I'm the only one. I won't ever run in this valley of wolves. The hour for blood in this valley of wolves. The hour for blood, the hour for blood in this valley of wolves.
So this right here is a great example of making do with what you got. We took an old shop light we had around the shop. This is just a lot of stuff we had laying around here that we thought would make a really cool prop. We took an old shop light. We've got an exhaust tip inside here. We've got a center cap to an old wheel. It's mounted on an old army box with some U-bolts that come off the rear end of this car. What we got inside here is what they call an electronic firecracker. Makes a lot of sparks, makes a lot of noise, grabs a lot of attention.
So quick to shoot down the game. Your burden is heavy, but I carry every ball and chain. Gonna feel the air under your feet. I'll be the pulse and rhythm when you feel you're drifting off the beat. Oh, you wanna run to me, wanna run to me. I'll be your soul shaker, I'll be your rainmaker. So tell me, are you ready for
It's really exciting seeing this car finally come together. I mean, the roof props turned out great, even better than I expected on them. Looks like we're going to be able to make it to the Lone Star Throwdown. So basically it's just now down to the wire of loading the car up, heading down there and see what the people think. Well, it's a big day before the show, and I couldn't be any happier to see this car outside the shop and finally on the trailer. It's a pretty good ride down there to Houston, about 4 or 5 hours, so we're going to go ahead and take off the day before, find us a spot to stay down there. We didn't get as far on the car as I'd hoped, but we got a lot further than we probably should have on it. We're hoping we get tons of looks on the way down there, but hoping we get even more at the show. Here we are, day one of the show. We drove up here late last night. We got a little bit of rest. We made it with all of our props. One of the little green lenses blew off the lights. We were blessed that Dad saw that and we were able to pick it up. I got Dad fixing that up on it right now. But everything else seemed to stay intact. We're gonna try to make it down there to the show and load this thing and see what the people think about it.
Survival, take down my rival. No, I ain't gonna stop. If I am beaten, I'm not defeated. I fight back to the top. Ain't backing down, no, we're going big. Ain't stopping now, we get after it. Get after it. Get after it.
Well, we're here, but so are a lot of other people. I mean, I'm looking around, there's a lot of shiny paint, a lot of high dollar builds here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of patina style stuff. We may be a little bit out of our element, but maybe that'll work in our favor. So far the car's been a big hit. We've seen tons of people taking a lot of pictures of this thing. It's been really nice to meet up with new friends and fans of the show and actually be able to put a face behind the people that have been supporting us here. It turns out at Lone Star Throwdown, if you want a crowd, all you got to do is crank up a Cummins and turn on a few gadgets. Well, it's getting pretty close to the end of day one here. We've had a ton of passerbyers, a lot of interest in this car so far. The weather's been in our favor, just a little light drizzle. Now we're gonna crank this thing up, take it by the judges and see what they think about it. Well, I feel like that actually went really well. All the props are functioning the way they needed to. The flamethrower shot out a bigger flame than I've ever seen it shoot out. We wanted some attention when we built this ride. I definitely think we delivered it. Well, it looks like everybody's beginning to wrap up the end of day one. There's been a ton of people here today, but tomorrow's supposed to be even bigger. We're really happy with the outcome. We're really happy with the reaction we've got so far. Can't wait tomorrow to see what the judges thought and what the people think about it then. So it turns out day 2 and day 3 are absolutely insane around here. I mean, the Lone Star Throwdown is quite a big show with about 2,000 entries and around 25,000 spectators. We were able to meet people from all over the world. I mean, from New York to California to even Australia come up to our booth. It was a really neat experience, and I'm glad that we were able to make it. Well, we're closing out on day 3 here at the show. We've had a blast so far. We've met a ton of really cool people. We've been able to put a lot of smiles on a lot of people's faces as well. We're about an hour away from the award ceremony, but we're going to go ahead and load this thing up. There's a lot of people here that are going to be trying to leave at the same time, but hopefully this award ceremony will work in our favor and maybe we'll bring something home.
Best of Show 2019 Lone Star Throwdown.
Make your selection.
So you guys may be wondering about the show. Well, this year we didn't exactly get to bring home a trophy, but that doesn't mean we come home disappointed. We've never really tried to take on a project quite this big, especially in the short time frame we had to work with. I mean, when we got there, we got tons of people with tons of smiles on their face. If we needed a crowd, all we had to do was crank this old girl up and turn on the props. We even made the front page news of the local town paper. I mean, if you're looking for attention, this thing absolutely brings it, sometimes even the unwanted kind.
So the reason for the stuff, like I said, you can see it right now. You know, when you're coming through and the light just wasn't illuminating, and I mean, it caught my immediately.
Right.
That's the whole thing. All I'm gonna do is, as long as you don't have no warrants for murder, you're not no, but, I mean, obviously you got enough ghosts to deal with. I'm sorry, I know